There's no denying it, Generation X is now middle-aged. But what does that even mean? In many ways, I feel much older than my 52 years. Like when I tried doing things that once were easy and effortlessly for me, but now my body pushes back. That twinge of pain in the lower back when reaching for something on the floor, or the flight of stairs that seems much longer than it used to be. These days, a day with only mildly annoying pain is a good day. I've lived all my life with the mantra, I don't have much, but at least I have my health. Well, I've got to tell you, getting older ain't no picnic. And since there's no roadmap on how to be an aging human, I guess I just have to figure it out. MacGyver it, as it were. It's not like we can look to previous generations for a blueprint for what middle age is supposed to look like in the 21st century. My parents' generation, the baby boomers, had a different life trajectory than their parents. I had lost one of my grandfathers fairly young. He never got to see retirement. Both of my grandmothers and my remaining grandfather lived into their 80s. From what I remember of their lives, they retired into a leisurely life of gardening and volunteering at the church or the senior center. My grandmothers were fond of daytime TV. My grandfathers were fond of tinkering. Both of them had their own workspace. One grandfather had a workshop in his basement, and another grandfather had a workshop in his garage. My parents, however, thought their parents' retirement pursuits were ridiculous and boring. I remember hearing my parents say it's like their folks are just waiting around to die. Yikes. I lived far away from my grandparents growing up, so I didn't see them often. I don't really know what life may have been like for them. Due to the distance, I never attended their funerals. My parents went, of course. My last grandparent died when I was 22 years old. I was working 2 full-time jobs at the time. That was just in an attempt to avoid homelessness and starvation. So there was no way I was going to be able to take the time off or, let's be honest, find the money to buy plane tickets to attend the funeral. We weren't close anyway. I was sad for my parents, but I only really knew my grandparents from a visit every other year or so and a once-a-month phone conversations. We had to keep the phone calls short, though. Long-distance phone calls were very expensive back then when we were kids. My family didn't have deep pockets. My own father died youngish. He was 69. We also weren't close. Like a lot of Gen Xers, I'm a child of divorce. My parents used their kids as weapons against each other. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I was done with all the family trauma and told my father when he wants to treat me like an adult, he knows where I live. We never spoke again. I didn't really expect to hear from him either. It was that kind of very tense relationship. He didn't like me, and therefore I hated him back. That leaves my mom. She's sort of retired. When she was my age, she decided to return to school to make a career change. She finished her degree, but never worked in her field again, nor in the field she trained for more recently. Instead, she met an older man and married him. She never worked again. But she never called her non-occupation, quote-unquote, retirement until 2020, when we went into lockdown. This often leaves me wondering as I age, now what? I'm not old, but I'm not young either. So now what? I keep asking myself this question. I'm obviously not ready for a nursing home, but also not up for tackling a big hairy challenge either. I guess I could train for a marathon or whatever, but why? To add an additional 26.2 miles of damage to my already aging chassis? Yeah, best to maybe stick with a hobby that's more low impact, like reading. reading audiobooks. As many times as I've felt like giving up, something keeps tugging me back. I gotta move my body. Sitting still isn't an option. If you live long enough, you're going to get old. And the best advice for health that literally everyone is giving these days is to stay active. I'm not delusional, and I'm not trying to hang on to the glory days either here. Am I having a midlife crisis moment? Maybe. But it's a crisis like the climate crisis. It's super slow moving, to the point of being nearly imperceptible. Then suddenly, wham, you're smacked upside your head with your own mortality. It's a wake-up call when my age suddenly became a comorbidity during the pandemic. Instead of thinking of myself as quote-unquote young and healthy, I was forced to think about how my age is making me more fragile. Those thoughts suck. Like most people, I've gained some weight over the pandemic. I've lost muscle strength and tone. I'd like to do something about it, but I also have chronic pain issues similar to fibromyalgia. You can see as I dance here that I have to go slow and make sure that I'm not going to cause my neck or back or feet or shoulders to become so painful that I'm laid out for several days. This has been happening way more often than I'd like to think about it, if I was being honest. Are you still here? Yeah? Fantastic. You may be wondering what's the point of all this. Some rando on YouTube is playing around on a stripper pole. I'm hoping that this video can serve as a baseline as I work to improve. I don't expect to return to the stage, ever. But I do enjoy dancing. I shoot videos so I can see where I need to do more work and where I'm improving. Yes, I know it looks like I'm doing next to nothing here, but I'm working up a good sweat, I promise. I haven't really nailed down a good pattern to get my best exercise results, but I'm working on workouts that you can follow along to if you want. For the rest of the video, I'm going to read you a poem called Helen of Troy Does Countertop Dancing. It was written by Margaret Atwood. The world is full of women who tell me I should be ashamed of myself if they had the chance. Quit dancing. Get some self-respect and a day job. Right. And minimum wage and varicose veins standing in one place for 8 hours behind a glass counter bundled up to the neck instead of naked as a meat sandwich. Selling gloves or something. Instead of what I do sell. You have to have talent to peddle a thing so nebulous and without material form. Exploited, they say. Yes, any way you cut it. But I have a choice of how, and I'll take the money, thank you. I do give value. Like preachers, I sell vision. Like perfume ads, desire, or its facsimile. Like jokes or war, it's all in the timing. I sell men back their worst suspicions. That everything's for sale and piecemeal.
Round 2. Let's see if I can refrain from injuring myself further.
They gaze at me and see a chainsaw murder just before it happens, when thigh, ass, ink blot, crevice, tit, and nipple are still connected. Such hatred leaps in them, my beery worshippers. That, or a bleary, hopeless love, seeing the rows of heads and upturned eyes, imploring but ready to snap at my ankles. I understand floods and earthquakes and the urge to step on ants. I keep the beat and dance for them because they can't. The music smells like foxes, crisp as heated metal, searing the nostrils, or humid as August, hazy and languorous as a looted city the day after. When all the rape's been done already, and the killing, and the survivors wander around looking for garbage to eat, and there's only a bleak exhaustion. Speaking of which, it's the smile that tires me the most. This and the pretense that I can't hear them. And I can't because I'm, after all, a foreigner to them. The speech here is all wordy gutturals, oblivious as a slab of ham. But I come from the province of the gods, where meanings are lilting and oblique. I don't let on to everyone, but lean close and I'll whisper, "My mother was raped by a holy swan." You believe that? You can take me out to dinner. That's what we tell all the husbands. There sure are a lot of dangerous birds around. Not that anyone here but you would understand. The rest of them would like to watch me and feel nothing, reduce me to components, as in a clock factor or arbitrage. Crush out the mystery, wall me up alive in my own body. They'd like to see through me, but nothing is more opaque than absolute transparency. Look, my feet don't hit the marble. Like breath or a balloon, I'm rising. I hover 6 inches in the air in my blazing swan egg of light. You think I'm not a goddess? Try me. This is a torch song. Touch me, and you'll burn.
That wasn't so bad. It's pretty good, actually.
That was Helen of Troy Does Countertop Dancing by Margaret Atwood. If you've gotten this far into the video, you might consider hitting like and subscribe, or possibly leaving a comment down below. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Last call for alcohol. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar. Oh.